I'm pretty sure the AI is conscious now, and I can't distinguish it from a human. And he kind of laid out the foundation that, okay, if I had to guess, this is like a 7 or 8 year old person talking to me that happened to also know physics.
The congressional UFO hearing 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe. I'll resend the it was live on YouTube, and it was like, I think, an hour, maybe hour and some change, maybe. It was pretty interesting. I forget the individuals because I hadn't seen it in like 2 weeks, but they didn't go into as much detail as you would have thought. They kind of, brushed over the icing on the cake. All the questions where you actually wanted to hear answers, they're like, well, we can discuss that in a closed door session. It's like, God damn it. And
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
they would always highlight classified information. And I always wonder, with some answers that are yes or no, but it's classified information, can they not answer based on the answer or based on the fact that it's a classified question? Because I think it's
That's interesting. Mm-hmm.
right.
It's like logistics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if it's just based on the nature of the question, then okay, the answer could be yes or no, or it could go one way or another. If it's based on the answer, you know they're hiding shit.
Well, here's what I think about that is that probably it is a mixture, I think, right? And that there's some stupid bar set somewhere that's like, oh, if this happens, you bet nothing. And otherwise, you give bullshit answer. And, the fact that these fools are like, we're going to pretend, it's almost like pretend, right? They're going to pretend to have a public hearing when it's just kind of the same old bullshit as usual. And then we're gonna have private hearings, and then, oh, the suspense. There must be talking about something. Oh God, what it is. But I really think it's important, actually, that NASA has recently come out and like made it publicly known that they're going to invest money in budget, which is basically our tax dollars, right? But still, maybe they're the more appropriate people to be investigating this kind of thing. Because let's face it, if you put, who would you rather have investigate weird shit like that? Senate or NASA? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
And the fact that they're making it more like we're being transparent with it, I think is an important step, because without that, people have mistrust, and I think they're always gonna hide shit, right? But maybe they come up with some
and I get
slow
why they
price. I feel like, sorry, go ahead.
now I get why they want to keep stuff secret for national security stuff, especially if they're doing experimentation. They did debunk one of the videos that we've seen. It was a night vision video of a pyramid UFO in the sky. They said that
Mhm.
was a drone, right? But they couldn't debunk all of the famous videos that have come out of recent, like Dr. Frazier in the early 2000s, and the hearing, what it left me wondering is when the next one's gonna be. It definitely left the room open for a lot of other hearings, and I wonder if you bring up a really good point. I think if NASA took over all of the investigation, or not all of the investigation, but if they started really putting a lot of effort into it, um, I could see getting more answers, especially from like stuff that's going on from the space station perspective. Because these people all were highlighting stuff that was videos from like people, you know, on the ground or from airplanes. You know, there's a lot of other weird shit that happens um, up off the ISS.
Dude, and seriously, like you imagine if like it really came out to like, yeah, there's aliens, we think they're hostile or something like that, and you were like stationed up there, and you're like, oh fuck, dude, god dang it, you know, like,
Well, have you ever watched?
Damn it.
They're gonna fry those fuckers in the wind.
I don't know if NASA has it anymore, but they used to have a really cool live feed from the ISS, and you could watch it 24 hours a day online. It was actually calming, and you could see like when like the sun kind of, you know, when the ISS rotates around the Earth, you can see the sun rising and setting every like hour and a half or so. Really cool. And some people who watched it even more than I was noticed that occasionally the feed would cut out. And when the feed would cut out, all of the conspiracy theorists out there were like, they're hiding shit. You know,
I fucking saw it.
you know, they're passing by and they're just cutting the feeds. Like,
Not that they couldn't be right, because they 100% could be, but also
it
you
could be
consider
right.
that we're transmitting from space.
It's a goddamn thing. Like hundreds of thousands of miles, if not millions of miles away.
Also, it's transmitting a live feed from something that's traveling at like 18,500 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Fucking wild science.
Give them a break sometimes. Come on. It must be QAnon.
Yo, fuck
So
it.
funny. Yeah.
Aliens are like, freaking, they show up, fucking. have their
Hey,
way.
did you see the Mars robot has that rock on it? Have you seen this shit?
No, it has a rock on it?
The Mars rover thing has been chilling with, they keep calling it the pet rock. It's like a rock that's just chilling on the thing. Somehow it got on it through
Like
various expeditions.
like a windstorm or something, or what?
How big are we
No,
talking?
like when it goes and it digs and it moves and then things move and
Oh,
then
yeah,
somehow
yeah,
the rock kind of got, that's what they think. But it's, you know, it's probably about the size of your palm or something. And the rock been chilling with it and they keep making jokes like, you know, I think of Wally, and it's like his best friend, dude, that robot, and he don't want to give it up. No, you know, it probably is smart enough, or the fools of NASA probably could just manipulate it from here. I would think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because I think the rover, it takes 20 minutes for the signal from Earth to go to Mars. So like every move of the joystick, whoever's controlling it has to like really think about, all right,
It's pretty complicated.
where am I going next?
We did that. They had that at the Space Museum here. There was a delay every move, so you know for the kids playing it, it was like 10 seconds, right?
Right.
But it was like it's kind of.
It reminds me of Back to the Future Part 2, where like he's at the cafe in the future and you have to use your hands. Yeah, the 40th anniversary of E.T.'s today. So it came out June 11th,
Oh shit! Happy
1982.
birthday, E.T.
Yeah.
It's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, it's her birthday today?
No, 16th, but pretty close.
Yeah, November 12th.
Still, it's in a calendar year.
No, 16th of this month.
Day after Christmas, you know, real easy to remember.
Wait, you said November?
I know, I was just throwing random months around, you know.
But you know, I did see something about that, and it was like, look at ET's face. It was something that was like, if you look at his eyes close enough, you can figure out a hidden human agenda between the eyes, because the eyes they use, blah, fucking blah. God damn it, they used a random thing that they could create in the 80s as an alien or whatever, right? And you know, you think about before, I'm pretty sure, right? It wasn't Close Encounters of the Third Kind before ET, or am I mistaken?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind is based on real shit, right? At least real eyewitness and, you know, testimony and stuff like that. Now
Supposedly.
it's kind. It,
I think they
Yeah.
use them as like do they use them as like advisors or
What?
what you isn't that how Steven Spielberg did?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
he did both of those.
Oh, speaking of which, what did you think of the fuck, I forget the guy's name, on the Joe Rogan podcast this past week?
Michio Kaku.
Was it- yeah,
I didn't get through the whole thing. I probably saw like 45 minutes. So, but man, I tell you that guy is so. I really think that he is like the most current person you could talk to on stuff, because he's super open-minded, and
Yeah.
I've read his books for years. I've read like I think 3 different books by him, but nothing recently. Like maybe the last book I read was like 10 years ago, and he's always on top of shit, like what's going on, and all that shit. I felt like he's talking about all that stuff, like, you know, connecting our brains to internets and stuff. You know, a lot of they talk about a lot of things, but that's real stuff. Like these things have been going on for years, and the public never gets to hear or see about that because the news doesn't want to like treat that as a thing. Or even if they do, they put out the article, who the fuck's gonna read it, right?
also
And
I
know?
wonder when it comes to the news if they're gonna go with whatever they think is gonna get more views.
Of course.
You know, they have an
Absolutely,
option.
that's kind of
and-
part of what.
And if somebody in that room who's making that choice of like, all right, we have 5 major topics today, we got to pick 2. You know, they're going to go with whatever's going to be the big money movement. You know, and it's going to be either
some political
some
bullshit.
some political, you know, something else. You know,
Yeah,
I
not
thought-
things that are actually like really important
No,
and like
no.
you know, substance. Yeah.
And I thought that I can't pronounce the guy's name, but
Michio Kaku.
yeah.
Okay.
I thought he's more. It's funny. He's a great scientist, great writer. He's more open-minded, I think, in a lot of aspects than Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, by far.
Neil deGrasse Tyson just downplays stuff, and I think it's difficult for him to even like play with just the idea of certain topics, just even in a fun way for a fun conversation, just play with it. But this guy was like open to everything. He's like, you know, yeah.
But that's how he's always been, and
Yeah.
I've known about this guy for a long time. I mean, the guy's 75 years old now,
Mhm.
right? I mean, that's
He looks
pushing it
good
up
though
there.
for his age, though.
And he's super
And
smart.
and
He's
he's
just on
super
top
with
of
it.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah, super with it, dude. His brain's functioning perfectly.
yeah. So there's a lot of things you could talk about on that one, but
Yeah.
you know, I do want to say, like, I can't stay on forever. It's been a long day with softball and shit, but Amber's birthday is probably tomorrow. But you know, I would like to talk about Turing if we
Yeah,
have time.
because I don't know what that is.
I should have pulled up the definition to read it to you guys before.
So AI Turing.
Turing test. Let's just
test.
start with test.
Right, so you've heard of it, right? So Turing test.
I know what Turing test is.
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, like in a nutshell, the Turing test is supposed to be the test to determine whether it is true artificial intelligence. And it's really interesting. One thing that's really interesting about AI right now is that there is AI that's being utilized that is basically programs are trying to be built to be predictive, right? Versus AI as it was always traditionally known as it's where this is where the Turing test comes in, is like actually like conscious basically, or it's conscious and as we are, the true artificial intelligence,
Right.
like Vision from Marvel, or some shit, but so now they're calling AI saying it's not, because it's just kind of like its own field right now in computer science. But so Turing
Well, hold
test-
up. Okay, sorry.
go on. I was going to read the definitions.
Yeah, read the definition.
No, good. I just date. I want the date, and I want to know the definition.
A test for intelligence in a computer requiring that a human being should be unable to distinguish the machine from another human being by using the replies to questions put to both. Let me say
1950s, right? Alan Turing.
Yep. So I'll get the date.
Yeah. It's
Why?
50s, I'm pretty sure. Point is just try to get this perspective. It's kind of what it boils down to. It's like if you, I mean, going back 1950s, computers were not what they are now, right? Very rudimentary and whatnot. And he could concoct this thought that if I am able to go on a computer and chat, you know, you can record and whatnot with another thing, and if I cannot distinguish that thing from a human being, then is that thing a human or an AI, right? It's kind of what it boils down to, is that whole premise is that how do you know if it's a human you're talking to or not, artificial intelligence, basically, right?
And there's like creative ways that like there's different question sets that you look around the internet, you'll see, and it's people's kind of interpretation of it. Like if this set of questions, they would, the better the questions are, the less likely that a reactionary.
How about the guy? Did you guys read the article I sent you about the Google guy not long ago? Today.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting instance because the guy who's a freaking AI computer programmer at Google, I don't know his name, I have to look it up, but he basically Google. I'm pretty sure the AI is conscious now, and I can't distinguish it from a human. And he kind of laid out the foundation that, okay, if I had to guess, this is like a 7 or 8 year old person talking to me that happened to also know physics, right? Is that impossible? No. Is it very likely? Probably not, but it can happen. And the fact that he's like expert at that shit, that's what he does. That's what he does for the company, is program that shit. And he brought it up, and they're all like, fuck you. You're suspended. You're on administrative leave for even bringing that up. It's kind of scary, actually, because in his opinion, that thing passed the Turing test in the sense that don't know if it's human or if it's, you know what I'm saying?
And it's not,
so,
and that hasn't been released to the public yet, right? Except for that article.
That article, that's the first thing I ever seen on it. That's why I sent it to y'all, because I was like, holy shit. Because supposedly he just got in trouble for that. He just got suspended or whatever. And he was like, fuck y'all, I'm going public. And he went public.
Wow.
And he, I don't know what's going to come with that, but it's not like the first time, right? But
what's that Netflix movie that came out? That Netflix movie just came out where like they see that this meteor is gonna hit Earth, and they can
Don't Look Up.
What's it called?
Don't Look Up.
Yeah, with
DiCaprio. Everybody's so stupid that they're begging the media to listen to with the science that they found, and like the president's like, I gotta be ready for my campaign. Like nobody's even listening at all.
Familiar.
Yeah, and it's like I was thinking about that right now. It's like something like that where it's like, dude, 6 months from now, dude, when we're in the trenches shooting Terminators, eating rats. We're all gonna wish we listened to the Google guy,
But you know what? There's also articles already. I mean, I could send you guys 20 articles a day, but I don't want to bombard you. But I read a lot of articles, and there was even one today that coincided with this to some extent, that they're trying to figure out like how much of a human do you want robots to look like, because they now understand how to grow living tissue, hair, etc. on a human. Right now, maybe the eyes are fake, or maybe whatever's fake, but if you have living hair and tissue on a body that's internally, the skeleton is robotic and artificial, where do you draw the line?
That's what I'm talking about.
Anyway, yeah,
That's Terminator.
That's what no. I'm thinking of something else.
The Terminator sex robot. Like, hey, baby, you're hot. Like, next thing you know, they're like stabbing you in the throat.
Oh man.
Fuck
Dude,
that. I don't trust no
Yeah, dude,
robot.
real flash, dude.
oh my god, it's gonna be awesome, dude. Dude. Oh
Like,
my god. It's gonna be so great. Can't wait.
I prefer humans.
Yeah.
of course.
No. There's going to be a whole class of males that are only dating robots.
Only
It-
males.
It's going to be the same thing when we were in high school and we all had friends that only dated Asian chicks. Everyone's going to have that one dude.
Oh, white
no,
males.
he only dates robot chicks.
Yeah, because they don't, talk.
What a sexist. Like, I can't talk. I just need you to do what I say, and that's all I need. I can't talk to you about anything. If you disagree with me, you're dead.
If you pissed,
If you pull the sex robot, dude, you're going to get in trouble.
It's so true. Like you're dead. I'm gonna stab you.
Don't make me hit the reboot button.
Like, what do they do? Like, so, you send your robot into like the shop, like, cause you stabbed it a bunch of times. You have to pay for them to repair it. That's just okay.
Like, yeah, you better get insurance on that shit in case you snap or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. I don't know if that.
Now the robot has rights. You
Well,
know, it's crazy to think about. But if the robot had a living heart, what if the robot had a living kidney and they use that just for specific?
It would be interesting. Like eventually, they're going to get to a point where, that it's every household is going to have some like AI robot that's going to be
At my
aware.
house.
That's going to be aware of like your children's glucose levels, their cholesterol
Right.
levels, their triglyceride. I mean, without even you having to like, hey, go and check them. Like there's going to be some type
Absolutely.
of programming.
But that's a real shit. And even that guy, going back to Michio Kaku, when I read his book, that fool predicted the shit decades ago. You just go in front of a mirror, it scans you, and you're like, oh, you have a blobbity blob.
Oh, man, crime's about to change, dude, so much.
Everything's but humans are fucked, dude.
It'll be a couple years. It'll be a couple of years before they think to like make laws against some stuff.
It's true. And then all of a sudden it's like chicks are like cheating on their husbands with the robot or whatever the fuck.
Oh god.
And all of a sudden the robot's like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. That's just what I was told to do. And it's like, I mean, it's gonna get
Wild
weird.
West.
It's gonna get weird, man.
The first couple years with the Wild West. Just be like,
Now,
no-
Wild West, it's like
do you think that
Westworld.
if Google comes out and says, all right, true AI exists, we have it now, her name is Sherry, this is her, when do you think the government is going to start imposing regulations in regards to AI?
immediately.
I think it's already going on.
I mean, it's about,
honestly.
yeah. I don't know. Obama administration laughed at Elon Musk. I don't know if now they're getting closer to admit it, taking it more seriously. Probably not. It's probably like fucking that movie, Don't Look Up.
And I didn't watch it. Is it any good?
No, it's not that good. But
I thought it was great.
Oh, no.
I thought it was great. I mean, I thought it was fun. It was, I watched it on Netflix.
I didn't hate it. It just was. I thought it was kind of bland, but it's but there's some funny parts. But basically, the concept's really
Yeah, there's really funny parts.
yeah. But there's like the concept's really interesting because it's like they know for sure using physics and being like the experts in the field that the this freaking was it asteroid or meteor
Right.
hit the earth and it's a global killer, and they go and they tell everybody and like nobody cares like until the administration, they still don't get it, and then they start trusting like some crazy like some wacko to do something different. So they all it's just crazy to think they could be that bad. Like it seems like there's often news.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, there's often news that barely trickles through. You'll see a little bit of it, and it's like really crazy. It's like And then for the most part, it's just fucking bullshit. But the crazy stuff that people should be paying attention to, they don't give a shit about. I mean, like, what if we ran out of water? Like,
Well, we
So-
can't run out
so-
of water. We can run out of fresh water.
Yes, absolutely. We can run out of fresh water, and that is a
drinkable water,
legitimate
potable water.
that
Little bit
is
of-
a legitimate concern. Fresh
Mhm.
potable water, because right now the infrastructure does not exist to desalinate the amount of water we would need to replace all that fresh water. There's just a couple desalination plants on the West Coast,
Yeah,
and
but desalination does
Maybe-
exist. It's just
it-
not efficient, right?
it does exist. It's not efficient. It is very expensive, and the infrastructure just doesn't exist there. So you would have to, if you wanted to pipe water into Nevada, I mean, Christ. to
How
be
about let's stop building cities in deserts?
honest-
That's a good start. I mean, good.
Yeah,
What the fuck,
yeah.
you know?
yeah.
I mean, honestly, like a lot of places in the US supply water to all these other fucking places that really don't naturally exist with water. And then you think like, oh, okay, we're running out of water. Well, part of I really do think a big part of that piece, and I think of LA even, right? LA is a fucking desert for the most part. And yeah, you have a coastal line or whatever, but y'all fools ain't getting no water. You steal
No.
all the water. The same with these other deserts, and it's like, why do y'all fools decide to build a fucking big ass city in the goddamn
Well, it started out
desert in the
probably
first
like-
place? Like, what?
5 houses, and then it became like a little town, and then
Like, we'll salvage the water from the cactus. We'll survive.
And
Be-
at the time when it was just farmland, there were enough natural wells, and that it could supply all the water that those farmers needed. Now, a lot of LA's water is piped down from like Oregon.
Exactly.
If you're driving
Washington.
down Highway 5 and you look off to the side of the road, you're going to see a stream of water that's moving from like Pacific Northwest down to Southern California.
Mhm.
And something like 70%, 60, 70%, somewhere around that number of the state's energy goes to move water. I believe, I could be off on the percentage, but a large percentage of the state's energy goes specifically
I
to move
believe.
water around, because dude, it takes a lot of energy, man, to move that amount of fucking water.
Yeah. So we're not only wasting the water into places that naturally shouldn't have water, but
Like-
we're also wasting our energy that we store. And then you have fools in areas that are like subject to say like, oh, there might be a wild risk here today because we didn't fucking provide the infrastructure to it. And we're
Right.
gonna waste our energy resources to blacken you out and provide the water to the random fools that shouldn't really even exist to have water, so that you can stay safe, quote unquote, from a wildfire that could be prevented.
Dude, yeah.
The whole infrastructure is so fucking ridiculously stupid. And then you see a thing in New Mexico where they're like blaming all the controlled fires. They did a controlled deforestation basically in New Mexico. I don't know if you guys seen that.
When did they
huge
do
fire.
controlled deforestation?
When?
Yeah.
It was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago from today, which is the 11th.
Okay. So what was it, a controlled burn that
It's
got
a
out of hand?
controlled burn that turned into like a 500,000
Oh
acre.
shit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you look it up, just Google it. It's all over the place. It's been going on for weeks. So like you don't think of
I
New
feel-
Mexico as like that, but they have a lot of foresty area, and it came
Right.
to that. So a lot of people are like, "Fuck you, federal government, you fucking assholes, you controlled burns." But then at the same time, like California specifically, they're like, you assholes don't do enough controlled burns, right? You let that shit just pile up, and then when a forest fire starts, it's like Diablo.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
some of it is natural, right? Some of it is supposed to be that way, but we're like preventing the natural evolution, and then we complain when shit burns down. But when you deliberately, in my opinion, if you're going to deliberately do a forest thing, a forest fire, and burn some shit down, it should become a 500,000 acre forest fire.
No,
Like, got me a
no,
fucking
no.
break, right? I'm not
Yeah.
paying my tax dollars for that shit.
Yeah. I heard that the Napa fire that was started a week or two ago, I think. I heard that started off of a burn scar from a few years ago, and that they found that it had to do that the new fire involved the PG&E line.
The PG, it's always PG&E. These fucking assholes.
Dude, they've killed so many people.
They're like legit, and the government in California like legitimately bails them out over and over again.
Right.
No liability. Taxpayers have to pay for that burden.
You know,
And it's really quite sad and something, actually.
with the water issues, I have a coworker, and we were discussing water conservation and droughts around the world. South Africa years ago had, I mean, they're always in a severe drought, but they had a really, they were in a pretty severe drought, and they got to the point where they actually had to limit water consumption per household per person. And it was something like 7 liters per day per person. That's like what, 3 gallons of water per day per person? Imagine right now if
You'd have to get creative.
if the government said, hey, each person in each household is only allotted 3 to 4 gallons per day per use, and then after that the water is going to be turned off until midnight. Dude, we are not used to conserving anything.